Pretty morning on the water, but I wanted to stop and read you this piece that I wrote recently. Um, but I need to say that when I wrote it, to write something poetic or in the form of beautiful prose just seemed inappropriate. Um, so this is where it landed. He was a promising young man in good standing with the faith community, wise, articulate, devout. So he was tapped by leaders for meaningful work, and he led a nonprofit effort. But he, with big vision, did more than his part, taking the message of salvation to the streets, conducting public debates. A particular group that styled themselves as free disputed with him, but they could not withstand his wisdom, so they conspired to silence him instead. They misrepresented his words and instigated others to speak lies and falsely accuse him, stirring up the crowds and some of the officials, making him out to be an evildoer. But before his accusers, his face was the face of an angel. When given the chance to speak for himself, he offered a basic review of the nation's history, the good, the bad, and the parts they refused to see. This review revealed a pattern of rejecting the salvation of God. The history lesson was even-toned at first, but then he brought the point home. This history of rebelling against God had come to a head in this generation. They had been graced with the law of God, but chose not to keep it. When he held up the mirror and the cross, like vampires, they raged against him. Their eyes bulged, their voices cracked, they literally showed their teeth. They physically covered their ears because the truth hurts before it heals. They shouted at him in fury, and losing their minds along with their humanness, they murdered him. And to make the whole thing more vile, there were bystanders who voiced approval of the murder. This all sat heavy on the community. But in a violent society with senseless killings against innocent people every day, why did this particular act sit so heavy? Why can't you just lump it in with all the rest? It is this. This was martyrdom. It's been 1,991 years since they killed him. It was first century Jerusalem. His name was Stephen, and he was the first Christian martyr. The details of his story I recalled are found in the New Testament, in the book of Acts, chapters 6 and 7. The response of the community is found in chapter 8, and I think is perhaps instructive. Verse 2 reads, "Devout men buried Stephen and made loud lamentation over him." Persecution against the church in Jerusalem would begin that day, and disciples would scatter from there. With great success, they would carry the word away to other places and other people who would hear. But the first order of business for the devout was loud lamentation. We might say public lamentation. Rather than deny the grief, they acknowledge it and give it voice. The mission would continue, but first, they mourn. I hope that's meaningful to you. Saint up, paddle hard, believe,